Well, greetings, Series 7 test takers. This is the Series 7 guru coming to you from my studio here in fabulous Las Vegas. A test taker is struggling with trying to determine whether it's debit or credit based on missing premiums. I have a separate lecture on this, but I thought I'd do a little carve out. Might find it helpful. So here's an example of a call spread and a put spread. So one thing you are held accountable to know, whether it's the long or short perspective, is that lower strike call contracts always have greater premiums, and higher strike put contracts always have greater premiums. So regardless, we can pick either perspective. Let's just pick long. If that's a long 40 call, having a choice to buy at 40 is more desirable than having a choice to buy at 45. Choices to buy at lower prices are more desirable. People who sell them know that and charge accordingly. So lower strike calls always have greater premiums. Higher strike puts always have greater premiums. Whether we're long or short, doesn't matter. If we just look at that put, we can take either perspective. Most people find the long perspective to be easier, but let's take the long perspective. A choice to sell at 45 is more desirable than a choice to sell at 40, right? People who sell them know that and charge accordingly. So when we get the missing premiums here, we say, okay, well, we know that the 40 call, by the way, we don't need to be worried about the call spread yet. We just look at the two calls and we say, well, I know 40 calls, lower strike call contracts have greater premiums. So that 40 call is going to have a greater premium than the 45. Now, using your T, now you'll be able to know which side has more money in and out. So if we buy the 40 call, that's going to be more premium than we're going to receive for the 45. If we sell the 40 call, we're going to receive more premium than we get for the 45. Okay, so now let's look at this. There's our 40 call. That's the one that has the greater premium. And that's the one we're long. So now we know that we paid more for the 40 than we received for the 45. Now we can say this is a debit spread, more money out than in. We know that we want the difference in the premiums to widen. We know that we want the contracts to exercise. Now, again, you could just think about that. If these get exercised, I'm your broker, you'd be buying the stock at 40 and selling the stock at 45. Bueno, right? That's 5 points less whatever this cost you. And it's bullish. The greater premium dominates the position, which in this case is that lower strike call. All right, let's look at the put spread. Before we even look at whether it's a spread or not, we just look at the 40 and the 50. Higher strike put contracts always have greater premiums. So that 45 call is, or 45 put is going to have a greater premium than the 40. So when we do the reveal, we say, okay, well, the 45 has the greater premium. So if that's the one I bought, it's going to be a debit. If that's one I sold, it's going to be a credit, because remember, that's more money out than in. The 45 is going to have a greater premium than the 40. All right, let's do the reveal. So it's a put, and we said the higher strike put has the greater premium. So that's the dominant leg. That's what's actually going on. That's the sandbox you're actually playing in. So I'm short. So that means I received more for the 45 than I paid for the 40. This is a credit spread. Oh, I'm pretty smart here, because if somebody sticks it to me at 45, I'm going to stick it to the next guy at 40. I'm the put E at 45 and the putter at 40. So I do want the contracts to expire. God knows I don't want to buy the stock at 45 and sell at 40. Exercise is no good. I want this to expire. I want the difference in the premiums to get smaller. And again, a short put is a bullish transaction. So that's bullish. All right, let's try another one here. So again, we're missing the premiums. We're missing the premiums. We're going to look at the lower strike call having the dominant position, right? Lower strike calls always have greater premiums. So I'm going to receive more for the 40 than I'm paying for the 45. So again, you just get rid of that and you just look at what it's a calls, and you say, okay, well, the 40 call has the greater premium. So then when you do the reveal, you say, okay, so if I'm selling the 40, it's going to be a credit. And if I'm buying the 40, it's going to be a debit. So that's how you're going to do this with missing premiums. So again, we say the lower strike, which in this case is 40, is the dominant leg, which is driving the transaction or has the greater premium. And so this is going to be a credited spread. So there's a lot of things you can answer, even if it's missing the premiums. So this is going to be credit. Once we get credit, we can rock and roll because credit, expire, narrow, go together all the time. The larger premium is the short call, and so this is bearish. Again, we do the same thing on the put. We get rid of the long or short. We don't get stressed about that. We just say, okay, higher strike puts always have greater premiums. So I know the 45 put has a greater premium than the 40. A choice to sell at 45 is more desirable than a choice to sell at 40. You can do either perspective. I'm just giving you the perspective to figure this out. So now when I do the reveal, I know that that 45 put has the greater premium. So if I bought it, it's going to be a debit spread. And if I sold it, it's going to be a credit spread. So let's see what we did. So there's our puts. There's that one. We bought it. So this is going to be a debit spread, more money out than in. Once I get debit, I can rock and roll, exercise, widen. The larger premium dominates the greater premium, and the greater premium here is a long put. And so this is bearish. So anyways, hope that little carve out was helpful. Remember, inch by inch, your Series 7 is a cent, yard by yard, your Series 7 is hard.